Last week it was announced that Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios were now separate from the main Marvel parent company and are now answering directly to Alan Horn and the larger Walt Disney Corporation. Now, much has already been said about this decision and what this means for the Marvel movies going forward, but I don't really want to talk about that right now. What I do want to talk about is one of the men involved in this separation, Marvel's current CEO, Ike Perlmutter. This man is something of a mystery, but from what we know about him already, it's kind of surprising that this merry Marvel mutiny didn't happen a lot sooner. According to Wikipedia, Ike Perlmutter is an Israeli-born businessman and financier. He was a co-owner of Toy Biz with Avi Arad, which later merged with Marvel in an attempt to help get Marvel out of bankruptcy in 1998. In 2005, he was named the CEO of Marvel Entertainment, the overall conglomerate that controls the comics, the movies, and TV, pretty much everything. In 2009, when Disney bought Marvel, Perlmutter remained their CEO and became Disney's single largest stockholder. Now, it must be said that Perlmutter is a successful businessman. He was instrumental in helping Marvel get out of bankruptcy and was a big part of the Marvel Studios boom that kicked off in 2008 with Iron Man. But that's not to say that this man isn't just a little bit crazy. For example, this is the only known picture of Perlmutter to exist on the internet. This is not the picture of a 72-year-old man. And his insanity goes a little bit deeper than just being a bit reclusive. For one thing, he's cheap. I don't mean that he likes to save a few bucks here and there. From what I've gathered, this man does not like to spend money at all. He doesn't allow editors to have complimentary review copies to take home with them. They have to go out and actually buy the comics they worked on like you and I have to. The Marvel offices in New York have one bathroom per gender and one HR person for the entire company. He wouldn't even allow Marvel to have a booth at conventions like San Diego Comic-Con for years. The only way they could have a booth is if a video game company was putting out a game based on one of their characters, they could share space. Which is funny because when I first started going to New York Comic-Con, this is like 2006, 2007, I remember there not really being a Marvel booth, but a booth for the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer game. It was only once Marvel's own movies started taking off that they have a real booth and a real presence at Comic-Con again. But the movies are another source of Perlmutter's cost-cutting. Anthony and Joe Russo, the directing team behind The Winter Soldier and the upcoming Civil War movie, have stated that they made more money directing episodes of Community than they did making The Winter Soldier. And there was that infamous story from a few years ago where Robert Downey Jr. was almost fired for getting paid too much to be Iron Man. The lengths that Ike Perlmutter has gone to save money have even led to some uncomfortable situations. It's been said that he is the reason that Marvel has taken so long to get a movie with either a female or a non-white lead off the ground, because to him, they're not a guaranteed financial success. In one of the leaked Sony emails, Perlmutter had told Sony CEO Michael Layton that because Elektra, Catwoman, and Supergirl were all box office bombs, superhero movies starring females are just across the board bad for business. This is, of course, neglecting the Hunger Games, Frozen, or hell, even Underworld and the Resident Evil movies. All very successful movie franchises, all starring female lead characters. Now it makes sense why there's no Black Widow action figures. This guy doesn't think they're going to make money, so they just straight up don't exist. Also, that whole conspiracy theory about Marvel canceling Fantastic Four and downplaying the X-Men because Fox owns the movie rights, that decree was passed down by Perlmutter. This is just a small example of the craziness that Ike Perlmutter can exhibit. If you have the time, definitely Google him and look him up. He is fascinating. It seems to me like Disney is really only keeping him around because of the contracts and negotiations that happened during the buyout. I wouldn't be surprised if once the terms are over, Ike Perlmutter gets the boot. He's still in control of Marvel's comics and TV divisions. But with Kevin Feige splitting and now answering directly to the top of Disney, I wouldn't be surprised if this meant that Perlmutter's days are officially numbered. Anyway, what do you guys think about Ike Perlmutter and his craziness? Have you heard any stories about him? Let me know down below or anywhere on the internet. Also, what do you think of the Marvel movie studio split? Do you think this is going to have a big effect on the movies going forward? Of course it is, but how big of an effect do you think it'll have? Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you really like us. Bob streams Tuesdays and Thursdays right here on YouTube, so check that out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Now, it's true that DC is not getting the sales that they probably wanted, especially with Marvel releasing Secret Wars, which has been a rousing success for the company, and their Star Wars lineup, which has just been purely unstoppable.
But $40 is a lot for
It
a
is.
season pass for a game like Arkham Knight, which doesn't have any online or
Yeah.
anything. It
I mean,
doesn't have much replay value.
Unless the season pass is going to be, unless the things like the Batgirl DLC, unless that was like substantial,